Have you ever walked into a battle already lost, only realizing too late that the enemy wasn't out there, it was within? Most men don't learn this until life has knocked them down hard, when the career is fading, the relationships are strained, and the questions start echoing louder than the answers. It's at this point, usually far too late, that we stumble across the ancient wisdom of Sun Tzu. But what if we didn't wait? What if we could learn now, not when it hurts, but while we still have time to win the war? One of Sun Tzu's most powerful lessons doesn't sound like a war tactic at all. It sounds more like a mirror. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you need not fear the outcome of 100 battles. Simple, right? But think about it. How well do we really know ourselves? Our strengths are easy to brag about, but our weaknesses, our blind spots, the patterns we repeat over and over without even knowing, those are what bring us down. And the enemy? It's not always a competitor, a rival, or even someone out to harm us. Sometimes, it's the voice in our own heads telling us we're not good enough. It's the fear of failure. It's the comfort zone dressed up as security. Sun Tzu knew that battles aren't just fought with swords and shields, they're fought with strategy, awareness, and timing. The man who truly understands both his own nature and the nature of the conflict he's facing becomes unstoppable. He doesn't charge into chaos hoping for victory. He plans, waits, watches, and strikes only when the odds are in his favor. So here's the question no one asks until it's almost too late. Do you truly know who you are and what you're up against? In this video, we're diving into the ancient life lessons of Sun Tzu, lessons most men only discover once the damage is done. But if you're watching this now, you still have time. Time to understand, time to plan, time to win without even fighting. So, where do we begin? With the one truth that underlies every smart decision, every victorious battle, and every fulfilled life: clarity. Sun Tzu didn't say try your best or be brave. He said know yourself, because no matter how tough you are, how smart or driven you think you are, if you don't know what drives you, what scares you, what triggers you, you're walking into battle blindfolded. And blind men don't win wars. Think about it. How often do we react instead of reflect? We get angry too quickly, stay silent when we should speak, chase goals we never even questioned. Why? Because we never stop to understand why we do what we do. Knowing yourself means being brutally honest. What are your strengths, your real weaknesses, not the ones you say in job interviews? What wounds from the past are still shaping your present decisions? It takes courage to look inward, but without that clarity, you'll keep fighting the wrong battles and losing. But self-awareness is only half the equation. Know your enemy. In modern life, our enemies don't wear uniforms or wave flags. They come in subtler forms: self-doubt, toxic habits, procrastination, fear of failure. And sometimes, yes, they're people. People who underestimate you, manipulate you, or stand in the way of your growth. Sun Tzu teaches us not to hate these enemies, but to study them. Understand what makes them tick, what they want, what they fear. Because once you know that, you can stay 5 steps ahead. Victory isn't always about overpowering. It's about outmaneuvering. It's not about charging in, sword drawn. It's about watching, waiting, and striking when the moment is right. This is why some men rise while others fall. It's not luck. It's not just hard work. It's clarity, a deep, quiet understanding of themselves and the world around them. And the men who learn this lesson early, they stop playing checkers and start playing chess. And once you do know yourself and understand your enemy, something unexpected happens. You begin to see that most battles don't need to be fought at all. Sun Tzu said it best: to subdue the enemy without fighting is the acme of skill. In other words, the highest form of victory isn't the loudest, it's the quietest, the one no one sees coming. Because here's the truth: not every challenge is worth drawing your sword for. Sometimes real strength lies in restraint, in walking away, in letting someone else believe they've won while you move on, untouched, undamaged, and unbothered. We live in a world that glorifies confrontation. Social media rewards outrage. Movies praise the hero who wins the fist fight. But real life? Real power? That's found in knowing when not to engage. Think about the energy it takes to fight. Emotionally, mentally, even spiritually. Every battle costs something. So the wise man doesn't fight to prove himself. He fights only when there's something real at stake. Sun Tzu teaches us to be like water, adaptable, flowing around obstacles rather than slamming into them. He teaches us that control isn't loud, it's subtle, it's psychological. Instead of reacting, you redirect. Instead of resisting, you outthink. You let the enemy exhaust himself, swinging at shadows, while you conserve your strength and strike only when the outcome is guaranteed. It's not cowardice, it's mastery. Think about how many arguments could have been avoided, how many business decisions could have gone differently, how many relationships could have been saved or ended with dignity if only we had chosen strategy over ego. This is what men learn too late. That real power isn't in forcing outcomes, it's in shaping them silently. That the strongest man in the room is usually the one who says nothing at all. And when you've mastered that, you've already won without ever having to raise your hand. So, if victory doesn't always require a fight, how do you win? Sun Tzu gives us the answer in one of his most powerful metaphors. Let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night, and when you move, fall like a thunderbolt. Think about that imagery, the silence of the night, the calm before the storm, and then lightning. Sudden, sharp, devastating. That's how a wise man moves, quietly, and then all at once. You see, most people show their hand too early. They talk too much, reveal too much, react too quickly. They want to prove they're strong before they even need to be. But that's not strength. That's insecurity in disguise. Real power is invisible until it's undeniable. The best warriors in life and in battle don't announce their intentions. They study, they wait, they let others underestimate them. They move in shadows, not because they're afraid, but because they're smart. Because when they finally act, there's no warning, no buildup, just results. And this applies far beyond war. In business, relationships, negotiation, timing and subtlety are everything. Imagine walking into a meeting where everyone thinks you're the quiet one, until you speak with clarity that silences the room, or letting others boast, posture, argue, while you watch in silence, knowing you're already 5 moves ahead. This isn't about manipulation, it's about preparation. It's about mastering your moment before it ever arrives. Because when you strike like thunder, there's no time for your opponent to respond. No room for defense. You've already decided the outcome before they even realize they're in the game. That's the art of dominance without display. The world doesn't need to see your every move. Sometimes the most powerful strategy is to stay unseen, unheard, until the moment comes, and then everything changes. So don't just win. Win like thunder in the night, silent in preparation, overwhelming in execution. If you're hidden in the shadows, waiting for your thunderbolt moment, where do you strike? Sun Tzu gives us a timeless answer. In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. Most people run from chaos. They panic in crisis. They freeze when things fall apart. But what the ancient masters knew, and what too many men learn far too late, is this: chaos is not your enemy. In fact, it might be your greatest ally. Because while everyone else is losing their head, the calm man, the prepared man, can see what others can't. Chaos strips away illusion. It exposes weakness. It reveals who's really in control and who is only pretending. But here's the secret. Opportunity doesn't shout. It whispers, especially in hard times. You just have to be quiet enough, clear enough, and brave enough to hear it. Think about the greatest turning points in your life. How many of them came when everything was going right? Probably not many. It's the heartbreak, the job loss, the betrayal, the moment when life gets loud and ugly. That's when your real path shows up. Not because the pain is good, but because pain forces you to see differently, to act differently, to evolve. Sun Tzu understood this deeply. He didn't just fight on battlefields, he studied human nature. He knew that the best warriors didn't just survive chaos, they thrived in it. They expected it. They even welcomed it. Because chaos gives you cover. It lowers the guard of the careless. It scatters the plans of the proud. And if you've stayed hidden, if you've watched, prepared, and waited, then chaos is your invitation. That's your moment. So the next time life feels like it's spinning out of control, remember, this might not be your downfall. This might be your door. Because in the ancient game of strategy and survival, the man who fears chaos loses. But the man who understands it, he steps forward when others retreat, and he finds opportunity where no one else dares to look. So, when chaos opens the door and opportunity whispers, what kind of man steps through? A leader. but not the kind we usually imagine, not the one who shouts commands or demands control. Sun Tzu had no respect for power built on fear. Instead, he taught something far more timeless. A leader leads by example, not by force. Because in moments of crisis, people don't follow the loudest voice. They follow the calmest presence, the steady hand. The man who doesn't just say he knows the way, he walks it. Think about it. We've all met that kind of leader. The one who makes you want to rise higher, not because he ordered you to, but because you didn't want to let him down. The one who listens more than he speaks. The one who takes responsibility when things go wrong and gives credit when things go right. Sun Tzu understood that true influence doesn't come from rank or title. It comes from trust. And trust is built when your actions match your words, consistently. He once wrote, "Regard your soldiers as your children, and they will follow you into the deepest valleys." Why? Because loyalty isn't bought, it's earned through empathy, integrity, and presence. This is the kind of leadership that doesn't just command, it inspires. And in a world where so many men try to dominate through pressure, ego, and control, the quiet leader stands out. Not because he demands loyalty, but because he deserves it. Whether you're leading a team, a family, or just trying to lead yourself out of hard times, remember, people don't follow force, they follow example. And when you live with purpose, when you model strength through vulnerability, when you show courage without cruelty, that's when others rise with you. So the next time you're tempted to push, to pressure, to prove, stop. Lead by showing, lead by being. Lead by becoming the kind of man others want to follow into the fire. Because that is the mark of a true warrior. When you lead by example, not by force, you earn respect, not fear. But even the most respected leaders face resistance, challenges, threats. And that's where another truth from Sun Tzu reveals itself. Attack is the secret of defense. Defense is the planning of an attack. It sounds aggressive at first, doesn't it? But it's not about violence, it's about initiative. Because the greatest danger a man can face isn't the enemy in front of him, it's passivity. Waiting too long, playing it too safe, sitting back while life happens to him instead of making life happen through him. Sun Tzu knew that a purely defensive mindset will wear you down. You build walls, you hide behind caution, you react, always one step behind. And before you know it, you're boxed in, controlled by fear, circumstances, or worse, other people's decisions. But when you take action, calculated, purposeful action, you shift the dynamic. You stop defending and start designing. You stop reacting and start shaping. This doesn't mean rushing in blindly. Sun Tzu never promoted reckless aggression. He promoted strategic offense, where you strike not out of desperation, but out of preparation, out of vision, out of timing. Think of it this way. If life is a chessboard, defense is staying alive. But attack? Attack is playing to win. And here's the paradox. When you move with intention, when you disrupt the enemy's rhythm, when you shape the terrain instead of adapting to it, you actually become safer, stronger, untouchable, because you've already dictated the terms. So if you find yourself constantly on your heels, emotionally, financially, spiritually, it's time to stop guarding and start moving. Start building, start creating, start leading from the front. Because sometimes the safest place to be is right in the center of the action, with clarity in your mind and fire in your step. And that's when you stop surviving and start conquering. So, you've taken the lead. You've learned to strike with purpose, not to react, but to initiate. But here's where many men still fall. They think every moment requires a battle. Every disagreement deserves a war. Every challenge must be met with force. But Sun Tzu warned us, clearly, carefully, who wishes to fight must first count the cost. Because real warriors, wise warriors, don't go to war for pride, ego, or emotion. They go to war only when there's no other path forward, and they do it with full awareness of the consequences. You see, the thrill of victory can blind us to the price of conflict. And the truth is, every battle, even the ones we win, takes something from us. Time, energy, relationships, peace of mind, sometimes even parts of our soul. That's why Sun Tzu reminds us, there is no instance of a nation benefiting from prolonged warfare. The same is true for a man. The longer we stay in conflict, internal or external, the more it drains us, even if we win. That argument you keep having, that grudge you refuse to release, that competition you're obsessing over. Ask yourself, Is the cost worth it? Is this fight building your life or simply consuming it? Great strength doesn't lie in the number of fights you can win. It lies in your ability to walk away from battles that don't matter, so you have the energy to face the ones that do. That's why reflection is more powerful than reaction, why patience is more dangerous than rage, and why restraint, true, grounded restraint, is the mark of a man who has mastered himself. So don't chase conflict. Don't glorify struggle. Let your life be a battlefield only when it has to be. And when you do choose to fight, do it with clarity, with discipline, and with honor. Because sometimes the strongest move isn't to charge forward, it's to stand still, think deeply, and choose not to draw your sword. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. So now you know. The ancient wisdom of Sun Tzu isn't just about war, it's about life. It's about understanding yourself, mastering your emotions, leading with integrity, moving with intention, and choosing your battles with wisdom. But here's the truth. Most men don't learn these lessons until it's too late. When the damage is done, when the regrets are heavy. But not you. You're here now. You're listening. You're thinking differently. And if any part of this message resonated with you, if it challenged you, moved you, or made you pause, then don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your life needs to hear this too. So go ahead, like this video, share it with someone who's fighting their own silent war, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel, because every week we're bringing you deeper insights, ancient truths, and modern reflections designed to help you grow stronger, wiser, and more grounded. This isn't just content. This is a journey, and I'd be honored to have you walk it with us. Until next time, lead with purpose, act with clarity, and choose peace over pride. I'll see you in the next video.